Hello, welcome to my vlog. I think it's called a vlog. My IVF journey vlog, that's what I'm calling it. So I've decided to vlog this for myself, to remember the journey, and for anyone else that might find it interesting, whether you're planning on starting your own journey or are thinking about it or going through it. Maybe this will help. Obviously, everyone's journey will be completely different, but this is mine. I'd just like to say that I'm going to be very open and honest about this whole process. So if you're going to be grossed out or upset about anything, then, you know, viewer discretion is advised. I don't know what I'm going to be doing that's going to upset or gross anyone out, but I don't know what to expect. So yeah, just letting you know, if it's something that you're not into, not interested in, don't care about, that's absolutely fine. Just don't watch. So to start, my partner George has a spinal cord injury. On the 9th of December 2021, he had sperm retrieval surgery. Basically, they cut open his testicles and some sperm, suck that right up, so that's good. And now it's my turn to do all the fun injections, numerous scans, hormones, all that stuff. I'm basically going to be vlogging how I feel, what I do, how it's going, and yeah, just keep track of all of that for myself and George to look back on, hopefully at the end of the tunnel where there's a baby. But yeah, I'm sharing it with you guys, so enjoy. To begin with, you're given all your drugs sent out to you. So it's lots of different needle boxes, injections, gels, nasal sprays. The injections go straight into the fridge. They tell you what needs to go in the fridge, what doesn't. To start off with, it's literally a nasal spray, which I was very relieved about. It's called Salisbury, if I'm saying that right. Just looks like this. Just your average nasal spray. For me, I just do a sniff and a sniff morning and night. Other people might have different doses, but that's all I need to be doing. I haven't noticed any sort of difference or change in myself. They say you can get headaches, feel tired, sort of early stages of menopause, but I've been absolutely fine. What does that say? And then I've got a scan tomorrow to see if that's working. And that basically is to stop me ovulating so that they can gain control of my body at a certain stage. So yeah, that's all going really, really well. The only thing is you're meant to have a period before the scan. And I was really, really late. I've never been this late before. Maybe it's to do with that, I don't know. So I rang up the IVF fertility centre to make sure that's all okay, because I will be on my period still during that scan, which is gross. I know, I've got to go through it, but that's like, they said it's absolutely fine. They do that all the time throughout the journey leading up to this stage. You have loads of scans and lots of people in and out of your JJ, and they do all of those throughout anyone's cycle, so they're used to it. It is what it is. Like, you kind of get used to it after a while, just laying there with your legs open, like, cool, here we go again. So yeah, scan tomorrow, and then hopefully this is working, because then we can go on to the next step. It occurred to me that I haven't actually explained why we're doing IVF. So loads of messages of people like wishing us luck, which has been amazing, thank you. And also lots of messages, people obviously curious as to why we're having to do this. People have said, have we tried naturally and it's not working? Is everything okay in the bedroom? Does it work? So I thought I'd address it. So yeah, George and I have sex. I think that's a huge misconception, is that people think disabled people can't have sex, don't want to have sex, and it's just so untrue. They can, they do, they enjoy it. It's great. So yeah, that's not the reason. Obviously George does have a spinal cord injury. So his injury is from the nipples down. So nipples down, he's paralysed. So loads of different nerves have been affected. And one of those nerves that's been affected is at the end, you know, everything else is great, but at the end of sex, George doesn't ejaculate. That's all it is, which is fantastic until you want to start a family. So obviously George has known this from the start. Since his injury, I knew from the start when I met him. So we always knew IVF would be the route that we'd have to take if we wanted to start a family. All my reproductive stuff is great, it's fine, healthy. But yeah, obviously that was always going to be tricky. You can't just make sperm come out. So in George's case, you just can't, it just doesn't come out. So that's what we have to do. This is the route we have to take, and that's why. I had a scan Friday to see if the nasal spray was working, to see if it's stopping me from ovulating, which it was, so that's all good, which means I got to start my injections today. I am going to upload a video now, so warning, there will be needles and a video of me injecting myself, but it's not a very detailed one. I'll do a more detailed one about the needle, the injection, everything else tomorrow, because I have to do them daily, and I'll give all different info then. But yeah, all went okay, didn't hurt. I start every morning with my nasal spray, sniffing each nostril, and I tilt my head back to make sure it gets up in there properly. Now time for the injection, so I get it out of the box, take the lid off, screw the needle head on, and I twist my dose to 150. I'll do this in a much more detailed video later. I'm going for my thigh, grab a bit of fat and stick it in. It does not hurt at all, I can honestly say that. Okay, so today I said that I'd do a bit more of like a show and tell of how I'm doing the injection. So obviously the needle part, I think, is everyone's biggest fear when it comes to doing this. It was mine. I was nervous to have to inject myself if it was really going to hurt. You have to do it in either like at least I've been told by my nurse, in the top fatty part of your thigh or the lower fatty part of your stomach. I tried my leg and honestly, it did not hurt. I did not feel that needle go in at all. It didn't hurt after. I feel absolutely fine today. I don't know if, you know, the more that I do this, I might get bruising or sore or anything. That is obviously said that that can happen, but at the moment, I'm kind of looking forward to doing it today. So yeah, hold it in for 5 seconds once you pushed the needle down. Product was still coming out, and I mean like tiny drops, but obviously I want all of that to go into me, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, because that's why you're supposed to hold it in for longer, to make sure that it all gets in there, but it was still coming out. But I'm going to try again today and we'll see. So obviously a warning, there will be another video of me injecting myself and talking about the needle. So yeah, warning. Mine is called Gonal F. I got 3 different boxes. So the pen is in this with all the different needle heads. 2 of the pens have like a smaller amount of product in, so they'll do me like 2 days each, and then the other pen has more product in, that will do me for the remaining 6 days. So at the moment, I'm only doing my injections for 10 days. That will differ for everyone, and I may need to have more if throughout the scans I have while on this. If they're not doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, then I may need to be on them for longer. But at the moment, 10 days. So yeah, box. This is the pen with the product in it. And there's my little number thing. I don't know how to do this angle thing. And for me, my dose is 150. So I will twist this, which I'll show you in a minute, up to 150. If you go past your number, you can just twist it back. You get loads of needle heads in with it. So take your thing off, peel the tab off the needle head, and then you twist the needle onto the pen. Make sure it's really tight, pull that off. Okay. Then in a minute, I'm going to take the lid off, which will reveal the needle. I'm just going to lower the camera so that you can see the injecting part. I'm going thigh. So I did my thigh here yesterday. There's nothing, it's like the tiny little bump where I did it. It's absolutely fine, doesn't hurt. Okay, so twisting this to 150. 150 is the amount. I take my lid off. Needle, it's tiny, tiny, tiny needle, tiny. Okay. Grab a bit of fat, which I've got plenty of that up there, so it's still nerve-wracking. I'm still scared to do it, but okay. And then I'll push this down, push this button down, hold it in for 5 seconds, and then this will go down to 0. Okay. Don't feel that at all, literally not at all. So I can see that's gone down to 0, but I'm just holding it in there for 5 seconds or longer. I'm actually going to push this button in again to make sure I've got all that product out. Okay, and then slowly pull it out. See, there's like a little drop of, oh, you can't even see because I can't handle the drop of product on that. Absolutely fine. Woohoo! And then I just, in my sharps box, screw the needle off, throw it in there, put the pen back, a lid back on this pen, and then put this back in the fridge, ready for tomorrow. So you can see that's gone back down to 0 now. So I've used all the product. Ta-da! IVF update. Had a scan to see if the injections and the nasal spray are doing what they're meant to be doing. So basically, in my ovaries, there's follicles and they look like dark circles. They're now supposed to be getting bigger. And inside those follicles, the eggs will be generated for them to take. It's all going well, but they're thinking it could be done quicker because my egg collection day is coming up. So your follicles have to be a certain size to be ready. So they're talking about upping my dose. Obviously at the moment, the injections, I'm only doing 150 and they're thinking of putting that up, but equally they're reluctant to do that because for me personally, after like all the tests and blood work that you have done, I'm just more susceptible to my hormones could just go into overdrive and it just makes me feel a bit poorly if that was to happen. But I think they're going to need to up it. Otherwise I'll have to be on my dose of injections for a lot longer and then everything else will be prolonged. But yeah, at the moment it's going okay. I've got a scan Monday. They'll make the decision then if they want to up my dose or not. Now I'm going to upload a video of me injecting myself into my tummy. So I did that the other day. I was scared to do that. It doesn't hurt, but you can feel it more. Like I can feel the needle breaking the skin. It's just a bit of like a moment, but it's not the end of the world and it's okay. So I'm going to upload that for people to see in case anyone else obviously is going through this as well or is about to and they're worried about it. I do prefer doing it in my thigh, but it's not like the end of the world in your belly either. So grab a bit of fat, the lower part of your belly. I push the needle in. I can feel it break the skin, but it's not that painful. I then push the button down so the whole dose goes in, so that it goes down to 0. When I pull it out, you can feel the needle coming out a little bit, but it really is not that bad at all. And I've done it in my tummy again since. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to check out part 2.